Hey, everybody. Welcome to Horner's Corner on this Thursday evening here in the Great Pacific Northwest. Local time is 7 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. We do this once a week on YouTube as well as Zoom. We have no confirmed guests tonight. We had a couple fall through. They got very busy with their work. One as a reporter and meteorologist working in a suddenly busy fire, busier than ever fire area. So that didn't materialize. There's a good chance that Christian Sasse will join. If you've been following this channel, you know that Christian Sasse, a dear friend of the channel, also has a summer home in southern British Columbia in the Okanagan Basin, right along the shores of Okanagan Lake, where the White Rock Lake Wildfire has been a definite concern. He's been evacuated along with his neighbors twice. And in fact, just a few days ago, neighbors just north of him, many of them lost their homes. And that is a situation that continues to unfold. And although temperatures have come down and the humidity has perhaps come down a bit, although I haven't got that part official, it's too soon to breathe a sigh of relief entirely. I know that Christian and his wife Rosanna are keeping a very close eye, day by day, hour by hour, minute by minute, on what's going on with that fire near their summer home. So Christian is working tonight, and he said he would try to jump in. And lo and behold, as I look at my participants, I have an attendee, and it is Christian. So I'm going to go ahead and promote him to panelist in the event he can chime in here. And if so, I know he's juggling work at the same time. So I'm going to promote him to panelist via Zoom right now, and Christian will be in here. And Christian, are you available to talk at all? We'll know very quickly if not.
Yes, I am. Hi, Mark. I am.
Hi. Hey, appreciate you making the time, my friend. I know that you're busy with your work out of Australia tonight. You're joining us from your home in British Columbia, your primary home, just outside of Vancouver, far west of the fires near your summer home. You mentioned to me before we went live tonight, about 45 minutes ago, that you guys are still keeping a very close eye. And Rosanna, your wife, was concerned that things might have taken even a turn, but things needed to be confirmed. What do you know right now, Christian?
Well, I don't know that much. I just looked at some images taken about an hour ago, and you can clearly see that there is a line of smoke about 2 miles north of our place. Okay, that's what you can see. It's very difficult to make out more. I would love to go there with my camera and do a night shot, because then you can look through the flames and you can see, you can see I can see the, what's going on. It's very difficult to see it during daytime. So at nighttime, if I get an opportunity, I will go there at night, and then I'll know much more.
We should point out you have very good optics, excellent lenses, and camera gear. So for the folks who haven't joined us or been caught up since you last appeared a week ago, along with other guest panelists on the topic of fire danger, a lot has transpired. Your place is still standing, but since that broadcast, you have neighbors to the north who've lost everything.
Well, actually, we have also a friend, and he's been incredibly lucky. The fire went right around his house. It's just unbelievable. It's so that can also happen. The fire went, as you know, right down to the water in Killarney, and it was terrible. It burnt down some properties. But there are also some lucky ones where the fire went around. It's just amazing, So, it's almost like a lottery. Yeah.
Do you continue to hear from any of your neighbors who might still be in the area? It sounds like a lot of people left, like yourself, to get out of the area. The bad air, the threat of fire. You have the luxury, the privilege to go to another residence. In your case, I think you would agree. But are you hearing from people who've stayed in the neighborhood, who've stayed in the area directly?
Oh yes, all the time. I mean, for example, the evacuation order in La Casa, the resort, has been lifted. Okay, so that's what we know. It's been lifted, but you cannot go even. I don't know exactly where the where the roadblock is now, but I assume it's just at Fintry where the fire brigade is, where it was before, and all those. Residents that are north of that into Killarney Beach and so on, all those that are still evacuated, they are in immediate vicinities usually. I mean, the road to Vancouver was closed for some time, but that's reopened. That's the Coquihalla has been reopened. So I do know that they are watching the fire from the other side and from Kelowna or from Vernon, because you can get around on the east side of the lake, but not on the west side.
So for the people who don't know, when you talk about the Coquihalla, that is a major east-west route approximately. That's kind of the heart of the drive between the Vancouver area and Okanagan Lake. It's an hour and a half, I would estimate, maybe 2 hours. You feel free to correct me, but that's the heart of the drive. And things were so bad along, Merritt, Hope, that they closed it all down.
Yeah, that's sort of the highway of hell. It really is, because in summer, we've never had these type of fires before where they had to really close it because the fire jumped the highway. That was a few days ago. So they had to really close it. It was so dangerous. And in winter, it's just so incredibly slippery. So it's dangerous, incredibly dangerous in winter. And now it's also dangerous in summer. We've not had that. I always thought summer is the good time, but that's no longer like that, unfortunately.
Prior to that Coquihalla route, that highway being shut down, you had made a few trips in a very short period of time, going back and forth, evacuating. Then when the evacuation gets lifted, you go back with your camera gear, and then you come back later that night. But then less than a week ago, all of a sudden, that drive, as we just mentioned, is shut down. And popping up on YouTube and Facebook, I imagine, dash cam video showing the fire burning right down to the highway through large stretches. What a difference a day or two can make compared to when you were making that drive, and all of a sudden, just what looks like a carpet of orange along much of that highway.
Well, it's the wind that picked up that day. It was incredible, that strong wind. There's some videos I've seen. The wind was incredible. I mean, it was traveling so quickly, and it's also what burned out a lot of the properties. Although, the videos that I've shown, for example, on the west side, Mark, where you can clearly see that they were coming with planes and continuously putting water on it. Obviously, that didn't help. That's what I can. Well, I wouldn't say it didn't help. You can never say that, but it didn't help to an extent that they could save some of the major properties. And talking now about the Coquihalla, I remember at exit 195, I was always driving. That's the Larson exit. Every time I drove past there, I saw, at night, you could see small fires very clearly, but I never saw this as a threat. And that was about 20 miles south of Merritt, where there was a continuous but uncontrolled fire, but not dangerous in the sense, I think it was called Category 1. And then suddenly, I don't know where this fire came from, just south of Merritt, not where the Larson exit, but long before that, so much closer to Merritt, the second fire came. And at first I thought it was the same fire, but it doesn't seem to be the case. I still don't know what the origin of that fire is, but that was what's so dangerous. And also, I think that Merritt was under evacuation alert. It was a terrible time, right? There you had a fire in West Kelowna, that came out of nowhere, probably man-made, and then you had the Merritt fire, and then you had at the same time the White Rock, the White Rock Lake fire expanding at a rapid rate too. So everything going on at the same time.
On our screen right now, I'm hoping you can see this website. It's one that I know you're acquainted with, certainly. Central Okanagan Emergency Services. So we mentioned that the fires, two of them actually, that Christian's just mentioned, they're burning right in the Okanagan Lake area, very much the White Rock Lake wildfire. And then, Christian, you just mentioned also the Mount Law fire. So
that's correct, Mount Law fire.
Let's take them one at a time real quick. I won't read the entire updates, but I'll click through on the White Rock, and you can see this is today's update as of 4:36 p.m. today. Evacuation alerts and orders for properties within Central Okanagan West electoral area will remain in place overnight, as the White Rock Lake wildfire has been active today, just as your wife suspected, and is still classified as out of control. So, here we are weeks in, and the fire is still considered, a lot of times we get containment figures, right? We get 10% contained, and we look for that 30 or 50 and full containment, hopefully. But we're still at flat out zero containment, out of control. And then this Mount Law wildfire, this was just above West Kelowna, right above the
Correct.
Peachtree area.
That's right. Yes.
And you have a friend who sent you a photograph, and others were taking photographs right before sunset and into sunset of a very dramatic fire, the Mount Law fire, the day it got reported, believed to be human cause, against the sunset sky and right above residential areas once again.
Correct. That's exactly how it was, Mark. Yes.
And they say that favorable weather conditions are helping first responders as they continue to work on the Mount Law fire. While this is good news, BC Wildfire reports the 800-hectare blaze remains out of control. So you've got still two very serious situations. So, I could ask you a rhetorical question, but one gets the feeling that it should be fairly obvious that people still feel like they're in a long haul here, that this isn't something that gets wiped up cleanly in 2 or 3 days and goes away. This is here for a while.
No, I think we had a little bit of rain today. I haven't been there, but the reason we are not going there is because our internet is also out. And if you don't have internet, you can't work. It's quite simple. That's how it is nowadays. But as soon as that gets repaired, that was probably a cause of the fire too. We'll head back hopefully very soon, Mark. But goodness me, the fire is no ways under control. I really would like to do some more observations when I'm there. I will, as soon as we get there, I will do that, because I can objectively, with my large lens and so on, zoom in a lot of areas, especially at night, things that you don't see with the eye, and that's quite important. That was also the reason why we evacuated. It shows how much you can actually see. The night before the second evacuation, that was when the I don't remember the date anymore, unfortunately, but you just had the date on the screen, Mark, when all the fires appeared. I was looking straight into smoke, and I saw, and I published that, you could, with a long exposure, I could clearly see the flames in there. And I thought, this is not good, with the wind direction and so on. And we decided to pack up, and we left at 7 a.m. the following morning. And believe it or not, 11 or 12, just at noon, the evacuation order came. So you can predict some of these things. You can't always predict it, but if you study fire carefully in the vicinity, you can see the imminent danger.
Yeah, Christian, we acknowledged the last time we spoke that there have been some rumblings about the way this White Rock Lake fire was handled from the beginning. I've since watched parts of a 2-part documentary, and there are a lot of locals up at the Monty Lake area in particular who are stating as fact, according to them anyway, that the response was non-existent to start with. I'm just curious, is this something that you've seen or heard pick up in terms of talk, in terms of the cause or the way that the fire was managed from your neighbors at all? Or is that something that still, we'll deal with that later once we get the immediate threat dealt with?
It's difficult. I cannot comment on that. I can only comment on what I see, Mark. I don't know about that fire particularly. I just know that we've had very good responses in our area. This is a very difficult situation. I mean, this is make no mistake. Maybe there was a slow response initially with the White Rock Lake fire. I do have the impression that they're doing everything they can. I mean, the response that we see inside La Casa Resort, for example, we have, some of the residents are there, are also part of the fire brigade, and just the response we see, how we are informed, how we're kept in the loop when it's dangerous, how they explain things, because there's a lot of nervousness. I was very impressed, Mark, really very impressed. That's, I hear a lot of upset people, but I will always speak for what I see, and this is just my experience.
Right. And realizing that you may not have full awareness like everybody else yet. And, once more information becomes available, perhaps it's time to reassess. But in terms of you've been exposed to, what you're aware of, what's going on in your immediate area, you've seen very encouraging
Yes.
responses.
Yes,
Yeah.
and everything I've heard from my friends seems to suggest the same. Now, if the fire gets out of control, then people get very angry, of course. I mean that, but then when things are out of control, if you've ever seen a wildfire out of control, oh my goodness, it's I don't know what to say. It's very difficult. I mean, at one stage, I think even the Fintry Fire Brigade was debating whether they should even leave their own fire station. That's how much out of control it was. Fortunately, they got it back under control also through favorable conditions, that the wind turned, that the temperatures cooled down. The main thing, Mark, is really the relative humidity. The Okanagan is known to be very dry. We typically have between 20 and 25% humidity during the day, which is extremely low, extremely low. And every degree the temperature goes up means that the relative humidity goes down. And that can turn something that is normally, could just be burnable into something very flammable. That's the difference, is really the relative humidity and the wind, of course. The wind is also important.
Very good points, Christian. Yes. Sharing here a look at the Facebook page about that specific fire, the one impacting yes. your neighborhood and your neighbors, the White Rock Lake fire yes. information page. I'm not going to go clicking through all the links here because yes. I want to respect people's photos. They're out here publicly on this page, but I just want to direct you to it in case you want yes. to find it. There are some very dramatic images, and I can tell you that there were some links shared to some large file sizes, photos that were shot from across the lake, right? That really dramatically showed that Kilney Beach area, I believe it was, or just in that general area, and just up the hillside, many of the homes were flat out just erased by this fire. So once again, I'll just scroll to the top for the people who want to perhaps use this as a resource. It seems to be. Yeah,
and these flames, believe it or not, I saw similar, maybe not to that extent, but I saw that through the smoke at night. I published that somewhere on Twitter because people didn't believe it. They said, how is that possible? Because I don't see anything. Yeah. Well, it's what goes on behind the smoke is always the question. That you can't see the flames, right?
Right. Well, Christian, listen, I know the last time I had you on, I kept you on a long time. Okay, I think we went an hour and a half, and I know that you're actually juggling work tonight because your headquarters is in a totally different time zone. Yes, it's in the future in Australia. That's so right. I don't want to drag on with questions when I know that you have things that you could be doing. So I think what I could do at this time, if you wanted to cut loose, you're more than welcome to. But I could also share some video that I shot today. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about, but go ahead.
I will go back because I got a 20-minute window, which I just
yes, you just used up. So thank you very much, my friend. I always appreciate it. And if you do go back over there, safe travels, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, Mark. I'll keep you in the loop, as you know. We work very well together.
Yeah, I really enjoy this. It's awesome. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks for your
Love to collaborate. You're welcome.
Okay, thank you.
Take care, Christian. So again, Christian Sasse joining us from his primary home in Surrey, British Columbia, just north of the U.S. border, the Washington state border. He does have a recently purchased just a few months ago summer home. First time he did that, went out and bought a summer home. And it happens to be where this major wildfire in southern British Columbia is unfolding, as well as other nearby fires. So how about that? Well, I don't know if he's still sticking around, but Whidbey Tom has given the peace sign in the YouTube live chat. And Whidbey Tom is Whidbey, Whidbey. And that's for Whidbey Island, where Tom lives, which is not too far from here. And Tom, I just thought I'd share with you that I was on Whidbey Island today. My two youngest children and I and my wife, we went to Langley to go do a bit of kayaking. I took the week off from work, so we're trying to do a day trip here or there, go out and do something before school resumes and some other things that require responsibilities that require our attention. So this is kind of like an open week on our calendar to try and get out and play a little bit. And so we wanted to do that today on Whidbey Island. And I thought I would go ahead and show you some video, not all the best shots, but some video from our trip to Whidbey Island today. So what you're going to see is video of us on the ferry from the mainland here. We're about 30 miles north of Seattle. I live in Snohomish, and if I drive west about 10 miles, I'm in Mukilteo. And Mukilteo is on the shores, the eastern shores of Puget Sound. You can catch a ferry there and take a 15, 20-minute ferry ride on these large ferries that some of them have upwards of 200 vehicles that they can take, as well as the foot traffic as well, and bicycles. Everybody, you get all sorts of passengers, and they'll take you to Whidbey Island. You go across this relatively narrow part of Puget Sound, and you come to a town called Clinton. So I thought I'd go ahead and share that video with you. And it looks like Tom is still here. What? We should have met up. It was kind of a last minute deal. We literally made the reservations for the kayaks yesterday afternoon, Tom. And then I wanted to get back in time for this show, but we will meet up over there, because you got to take me. I don't know if you drink coffee, but I got to find good coffee on Whidbey Island. The coffee I had today wasn't that great, and I know that they're like Mukilteo coffee. I need to know where to find that on Whidbey Island. It's supposed to be really good. So let's go ahead and share a video of what we were doing today. I need to go to the advanced tab in Zoom, and then we'll play it straight out of Zoom rather than screen share, because Zoom says this is the way to do it. And it recommends that we do it in 720p. I had a 4K version raring to go. Then I realized, Zoom really wants you to do 720p. So that's what we're going to do. All right. So here's a look at our trip today. This will just be a couple of minutes, maybe 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes and 13 seconds. So we're on the ferry Chelan, where we've just left Mukilteo, and I'm going to bring that volume all the way down, because that's just wind that you're hearing right now. So for those who are not familiar, that's the front end of the ferry. And as I mentioned, some of these ferries can have upwards of 200 vehicles on them. And I thought I'd give you a look at what we're aimed at. That's Whidbey Island out there. And there's our weather up there. So we had a really nice day with temperatures in, I think we're pretty much the lower 70s Fahrenheit. Of course, there was a look inside the ferry, looking out the front, and now looking out one of the side windows and still through the window at a ferry going in the opposite direction from Whidbey Island to Mukilteo. And that's what these two ships do all day and much of the evening. These two ferries that work this route, there are just two of them that literally do the pass in the night and pass during the day, the back and forth. A lot of people commute this way between the island, and a lot of people come to visit this part of the country, this part of the U.S., and they a lot of tourists too. So here we are now in Langley, just north of Clinton on Whidbey Island, and we're going to get some kayaks. These you won't see members of my family. These are other people who are out there to enjoy the day as well. There's a look at the dock, right, just near where those kayaks are located. These are some people who were in a group ahead of us, and there they are setting out to go and enjoy the day. And that's the south end of Camano Island in the distance, which was really cool to see. My folks used to live on Camano, but on the north end. And right there in the red canoe is Tucker. He was our guide, and he did a wonderful job. Gave us all sorts of information about Puget Sound, the wildlife, the geology. I'll bring the volume up just a little bit. Okay, and I'll just cut to the chase. Here we are now after our trip, returning to Mukilteo, and now we're watching a ferry go from Mukilteo to Whidbey Island while we're heading to Mukilteo. And we're about to wrap this up, but what's really neat that I like, because it holds a special place in my heart, is we're going to close on a shot where we can see the lighthouse, the historic Mukilteo lighthouse, in just a moment. And it was nice to be able to see it from this view, from this side of it, aboard a ferry going into the new docking area for this ferry run. They built a really nice new ferry dock, as opposed to the one that's been here for many decades, even when I was a kid. But there's the historic Mukilteo lighthouse out there, and Whidbey Island, the south end of it, just in the distance. So thought I would share that with you. I'm going to post it, this, or maybe just update with some additional clips that were also shot today while we were out there, on YouTube, probably later this evening. And yeah, I'll put that on the YouTube channel independently as well. So fun to share. That's what I got out to do today. I have some thoughts on it that would be fun to share with you as well. Let's check the chat first. And Tom says, I love Langley. I tell you what, we really like it too. It's a nice little town, and real friendly people. The kayak company that we dealt with, they were fantastic. Really made sure that the kids, the two young kids, were well prepared, well suited with the life jacket, and everything was explained wonderfully. I will say this: I'm not getting any younger. They had I'm 6'4", so they had a longer kayak for me, and for it was a 2-seater, so one for me and one for one of my sons. And I just have to tell you that my back was not comfortable. I have a bad back, and in just beginning this year, I've been feeling what might be arthritis, something in my hips. So that was uncomfortable too. But I didn't really talk about it. I didn't want to whine about it. I just wanted to tough it out because I wanted the kids to have a good day on the water. So that's what we did. And it was nice. We had some good memories, some fresh air. And like I said, the weather was awesome. So it wasn't like these extremely hot days that we've had in recent weeks. It's cooled down, relatively speaking, compared to all of that stuff we've had in recent weeks. So we weren't near 80, as far as I know. We were in the low 70s, and it was really pleasant. And there was some cloud cover too. So that was good. Probably should have worn a hat. I think I'm going to have a little sunburn up here, but all in all, it was a great day. So let's just check let's see. Tom says, nice video, Mark, and thanks for sharing. You're most welcome, Tom. You live on a beautiful island. And our tour guide, Tom, he spoke about all the hiking trails. And I know you're an avid hiker on Whidbey Island where you live. So let's just take a look at the chats here. I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. I checked Zoom and YouTube, and that's where Tom's been chatting. But I want to go back and visit Zoom and make sure I'm not missing anything there. I don't think we are. Nope, we're not missing anything there. So I think we'll call it a short evening for this episode number 15 of Horner's Corner. In the future weeks, hope to bring on some more guests. I've really enjoyed it. Last week, we had 3 guests. We had a sensational hour-and-a-half discussion about the fire danger, and everybody brought something to the table. If you happen to catch this as a replay, for example, and you'd like to be on as a guest, there's a way to do it. And it starts by going to beyond90seconds.com/live. There you'll see a Zoom link where you can register. And that'll allow you to join Zoom as the webinar that we're doing here is the Zoom webinar feature. You'll be an attendee, which means we don't see you, we don't hear you, but you can chat with us. If you want to join on the panel, if you would like to be on camera and speak, you can just raise your hand. There's a raise hand icon when you're an attendee in Zoom, and we'll bring you in. And you can be part of the panel and the discussion directly that way as well. This is very much an effort on my part to build a community. And if you like what we're doing here, I would hope you join us. So thank you very much. Really appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. My thanks to Christian Sasse with the update regarding his concerns related to the White Rock Lake Wildfire at Okanagan Lake. And all of you who've been watching the videos that we've posted regarding that and the Mount Law fire and the whole BC fire situation, I really appreciate you watching. Many of you have liked those videos, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, you doing so, because that helps us with the YouTube algorithm. And that means that this content gets suggested more often and more people find us. So thank you very much. Have a great evening or a great day wherever you might be. Until next time, take care, everybody.